Show you all people log in.
Yeah, I'll show you in there. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Breakfast with Disaster. I'm your host, Chris, and this right here is Don Turner. He just started with us this week. Everybody, if you have a chance, just make Don feel welcome. If you want to drop a comment in the chat, thanks for joining us today on
Thanks for
such.
having me.
Yeah. This weather is pretty crappy out there still. It's we haven't seen
Yeah,
any sunshine at all lately.
missing the sun a little bit. It's supposed to come back next week,
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens. Supposed to get at least some mid 60s next
yeah.
Thursday, Friday. So
Hopefully we'll get a little bit of sunshine in there somewhere. So,
very nice.
but yeah, thank you guys for joining us. I wanted to kind of make this episode just mainly about Don, just kind of find out some more info on him, and just kind of just digging a little bit further. But thank you for joining us. Just kind of jump right into it here. Just gonna kind of bounce around, ask him a few questions. What's nice about Don's previous line of work is a kind of very direct representation almost of what we're doing right here now. So it's very similar fields. So it's kind of a nice transition for him to start here. So I'll let him do more of that talking. So what I've been told and what we've kind of discussed is I know you spent several years in pest control.
Correct.
That seems like it'd be a fun job.
Sometimes it was. Sometimes it was very taxing. Not so much in the physical aspect, but emotionally taxing. You go into a lot of people's homes that are dealing with extreme infestations of things like bed bugs,
Yeah,
roaches, rodents, and they're distraught.
yeah,
Their home is no longer safe for them. They don't feel comfortable. They can't go to bed without feeling something crawling on them. They can't
yeah,
walk into the kitchen without seeing something running around the walls.
yeah,
So it was very much emotionally, you feel for these people. You want to be
yeah,
able to go out there and help them. You want to do the best job so they can feel secure in their homes again.
yeah. Almost like you're acting as if you would what you would do if you were in their shoes. It's just like
Exactly.
you want to treat it the same situation. Do a lot of these people have to get like displaced when you go over there to do like the services, or like is it maybe, or if it's more of like a contained environment, you kind of just maybe have them stay in a separate room? I'm just curious how that works. Or a lot of them have to be like just removed from the home so you can do your
Yeah.
job or anything like that.
It depends on the level of infestation. Things
Sure.
like bed bugs and roaches, yeah, everybody has to be out of the house for a minimum of like 3, 4, 5 hours,
All right.
depending on the chemical being used and the time of re-entry. But it's not safe in there, which is spray everything
Sure.
down. If it's a minor thing, like ants, or if we're just doing rodent services, they can usually stay. Sometimes with just an outside treatment, they're perfectly fine to stay for that.
All right.
But yeah, a lot of times, they have to take themselves and their pets and vacate their property
Yeah.
for, set amount of hours until
Yeah.
everything was dry and safe.
That's actually not too bad. I mean, obviously, the higher the infestation, I would think the longer you'd probably be displaced.
Yeah.
Um, but that would make sense, but given, just out of health conditions and things like that, and we all know, here at Serpro, it's tough for our techs to even if we spot a situation like that where there's bed bugs or anything like that, we almost have to pause the work until we can get that rectified.
Yeah.
Um,
Very much.
so cool. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm just curious, what were like, I know we just touched briefly on it, but like, what were like some of your most difficult jobs per se, or tedious for that matter, while in pest control? And you don't have to just share a couple or whatever.
Well, I could definitely tell you some of my most difficult jobs in pest control were bed bugs and German roaches in multi-unit houses or apartment buildings,
Yeah,
especially when compounded by situations where the tenants were hoarders or bordering on hoarders.
yeah,
Because, bed bugs and roaches, they get into every little crack and crevice. That's where they live.
yeah.
They get into the floorboards, they get into, mattress covers and everything.
Hmm.
And then when you have tenants whose entire lives are in these small
Yeah,
apartments, they start getting to all the boxes and the cracks and crevices there. So that definitely makes things very difficult. Well, I'll tell you about one I had. It was in a multi-level, multi-tenant apartment
hmm,
building, 7 stories high. This was on the seventh floor. And I had been servicing this apartment for 2 years at this point,
yeah,
and we could never figure out why some apartments were getting bedbug activity sporadically popping up.
yeah, yeah.
After speaking with the owners of the building, we determined that we were going to start doing door-to-door inspections.
Which only makes sense. I mean, it's respectful to the other tenants. So
Absolutely.
you know,
It's their health and safety as well.
yeah, yeah.
Turns out we found the center of infestation where an elderly gentleman had been dealing with these for at least 2 years, and they had
Maybe he wasn't even aware
overrun.
of it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, he says he was never getting bites. Some people don't show bites. Some
All right.
people, the bodies break down, the enzyme, the bugs inject in you fast so they don't get the itchy red welts.
Sure.
But he basically just let it go. I mean, they
Mhm.
had overrun his apartment. They were on every surface in every room.
Yeah.
And that took 4 separate treatments and him moving him to another unit, but we got it under control.
Yeah.
And in situations where there's like say a German roach infestation in a building like that,
What makes it a German roach?
that's the species.
Oh, all right. I know, no, I understand, but like, is there? I guess a better question would be: is there a lot of different types of roaches, or is
Around
it
here in
pretty
Western New
common?
York, or New York in general, German roaches are the most common cockroach. They're the ones you'll always see in kitchens and bathrooms. They're the little ones, the two racing stripes on the back of their head.
Yeah. Yep.
The
Yep.
larger roaches, American roaches, we do see them here occasionally, but they're very limited. They're typically an outdoor pest or down in like the boiler room somewhere. They
Interesting.
don't particularly infest apartments. Then there are like smoky brown roaches in Pennsylvania,
I see.
but they're a wood living roach. They stay outside.
Sure.
Oriental roaches, you see them. People call them water bugs,
Yeah.
but they're still a type of
I'm
cockroach.
learning a lot today from this because I didn't realize that. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but I just didn't know that there was such a vast species of
Yes,
roaches and
there
too.
are
And
very many of them.
yeah,
I mean, they serve an ecological niche. They break down organic matter,
yeah,
which is great if they do it outside.
yeah.
Um, Big issue with especially the Germans is that they give off a dander, or like a shedding
Hmm.
that can stunt the growth of developing lungs. So when there's little children
Yep.
who are living in these big buildings and they're overrun with roaches, then you start having things like asthma and other
So other health like respiratory issues.
respiratory developmental
Um,
issues.
I would think would probably affect elderly people as well too. It's almost like the same,
Absolutely.
or anyone
People
who's
with COPD,
immunosuppressed.
yeah, it's definitely a health and safety issue when it comes to a
Yeah,
lot of these pests.
yeah. So I mean, if anybody needs, no, I'm just joking. I was joking with him yesterday, and I'm like, when I find my next place, I'm like, you might have to come through and help me look because he's almost has a radar for it.
I
So
really do.
cool. Well, I appreciate that, and everyone's kind of learning a little bit more about that as well. So that's really interesting, though. I didn't, and it makes sense. It's per region. Like you're gonna have different types of roaches that you would in like the Southwest as you would have up here in the Northeast or something like that. So,
Yeah.
cool. Uh, some other questions I just want to throw by you too. Not to get too deep into the restoration business, but like what strengths or qualities do you feel like you um obtained from working in pest control for as many years as you did? How would you kind of maybe like carry that over to the restoration side? And like you don't have to give a lot of examples, but it's a similar field, so I feel like it's kind of a nice thing that you already have a nice foundation of what's going on, if that makes
Absolutely.
sense. So
I find the things that I picked up that are definitely going to transfer over here are empathy and compassion
yeah,
for our customers.
yep,
No matter whether it's bed bugs, roaches, rodents, or whether it's fire, smoke, water damage,
hmm,
mold, these are people whose homes or places of business have become uncomfortable or
yeah,
unsustainable.
yep,
Something has to be done. They're not comfortable there anymore. They're
yeah,
not, they can't live their life. That's pest control. That's where we come in. ServPro, again, that's where we come in and we
yeah,
say, we're going to fix this for you. We're going to take care of you and we're going to put you back in your home or place of business feeling just as comfortable as you did
yeah,
before this ever even came into place.
yeah. And it's funny. It's great you mentioned that too, because here at Serpro, we also do work with a lot of exterminators on a
Mhm.
daily basis and it's all about communicating, when it's safe for our guys to go back on site to continue the mitigation work. So, um, everybody is kind of like we said before, just like everybody kind of working together. Without them, we can't really do our work either. So, thank you. I appreciate you sharing that.
Oh,
I just, yeah, now Dan asked me this question maybe like months ago. He's like, like what made you like land on Serpro? Because like I didn't, get out of college thinking, oh, I'm going to work at Serpro. I just kind of like landed upon it and haven't had any regrets since. So I'm just curious what kind of sparked your interest in like the position.
well, I, of course, do my research. And the thing that really drew me to ServPro and especially this branch is the great ethics that I've
Mhm.
noticed in the reviews that the customers write.
Yeah.
You know, the fairness, the compassion. We don't take advantage of our customers.
Yeah.
You know, we don't do things needlessly. And that, to me, that was a really good crossover from the skills I had already developed in my career as an exterminator
Yeah.
versus where I want my career to go,
Hmm.
moving into the sales
Hmm.
and such. I felt I had already developed those skills, and Surf Pro seems to embody those,
Yeah.
and it was very attractive for me.
That's actually very well said. I couldn't agree more with you, and that's kind of another reason why I kind of lean towards Serpro too as well. It's selling. It's not even. Actually, I don't want to say out selling at all. Just being ethical,
Right.
and doing what's right for the customer, and not just like some of these other companies like out there. It's a very tough business to be in, considering like price gouging. A lot of people can like your reputation can go south quick. So to be able to sustain that relationship and that what people perceive us as is what we take what's so much pride in.
Absolutely.
So awesome, great. Um just kind of like getting off of even the work topic, what do you like to do in your free time? Just in
Oh,
general.
well, I love my Bills and my Sabres.
Yeah,
Number one and number two.
of
Those
course.
those are my things. Other than that, I enjoy video games.
Yeah,
Have since I was a little kid. I enjoy the stories.
yeah,
I listen to podcasts and audio dramas. Watch some movies, read some books, spend time with my wife and my family.
yeah. And no dogs, right? Two cats?
Three
Three
cats.
cats.
I'm
All
a
right.
cat guy.
All right.
Yeah, I love all animals, of course.
So
Uh,
when you get out of
Minus,
work, they're crawling on
dogs.
the fridge and crawling all over the place,
I
or
get
what?
home from work and they are waiting for me at the door.
All right.
Two of my three cats cannot wait for me to get home, and they're at the door. And I, get home, take my shower. They're waiting on the chair,
There you
and
go.
they climb it up. I have to carry them around like the little babies they are.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
I love my cats.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show today. Especially on such short notice. Given the fact that you literally just started this week, so I really appreciate you
Happy to be here.
being proactive and wanting to be on the show today. So thank
Absolutely.
you very much. Without further ado, guys, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our wheel spin, and we're gonna see who our lucky winner is today. Pull up the Lug Club. All right. So this is basically just the wheel here. We're just gonna click spin, and then we'll pull up the according mug that goes with it. All right, so 153, and that is going to be Justin Swartwout from Terra Nova, who I know for sure does not work there anymore. But we will bring you guys something special to your office. Thank you guys for watching today. Justin, even if you were watching, I wouldn't drop off a second prize for you. I understand he's not working there anymore. However, I will drop something off for the Terra Novas. Thank you guys for watching the show today, and thanks again, Don, for being on here.
My pleasure.
And we will see you guys next week at 10:10. So have a good rest of your week.
Bye, everybody.